We love South.
Hello and welcome everybody to a quick video here to introduce something new to all of the kids here at South Elementary, which is called Raider Clubs. So let me tell you a little bit about Raider Clubs. Raider Clubs are kind of a fun activity we're going to do this Friday. It'll be at the very end of the day, and basically what it is we're going to have a whole bunch of different activities that are going on throughout the entire building with all of the teachers that we have here at South. And there's going to be a whole bunch of different things going on. You are going to be able to pick a club this week. And so in order to help you pick what club you might want to do this Friday, I'm going to walk you through what all the clubs are, tell you a little bit about each one to the best that I can, and then hopefully allow you to get an idea of what you might want to choose to do on Friday. So all week long, your teacher will be having everybody in your class, including you, sign up for these clubs. And so as you're watching and listening to all the different clubs that are out there, it's a good idea to maybe pick 2 or 3 or even 4 clubs that you might be interested in, because we have all of the kids here at South signing up for these clubs. And so your top choice may be closed by the time you get to pick. So it's always a good idea to have a couple of different clubs that you might want to try out, just in case maybe your top pick does happen to get closed. And I will say, even if you don't get your top choice, whatever club you get, you're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to be able to meet some new friends, maybe even some new teachers. We have all of our first grade teachers, all of our second grade teachers, all of our specials teachers, and then we also have a couple of other people that are also doing clubs. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about our clubs. And so I'm going to start with the very first one, which is going to be my club, the club that Mr. Meyer is going to run, which is going to be Penny Science. So I think we've all seen and had a lot of pennies over our time. Maybe learn how to count with pennies right now, or maybe you have a bunch of pennies in a piggy bank at home. We're going to be doing a bunch of science experiments that are all involving pennies. Lots of different experiments. We'll have some fun with it, and just have a good old time with some pennies, some things that you didn't know you could do with pennies. So Penny Science, that's going to be the very first club that I'm going to go over, and that's with Mr. Meyer. Next club is going to be Giant Board Games with Miss Schleckebeer. So Miss S is going to have some giant board games. We have Giant Connect 4, we have Giant Kerplunk, we've got Giant Uno, we have Giant Jenga, we have Giant Dominoes, all sorts of really kind of cool, fun board games that you might normally play, but in giant size. So that'll be going on with Miss S. That's the second Raider Club. All right, next Raider Club, Slime Makers Club with Mrs. Guth. So if you enjoy or want to maybe make some slime, probably going to take that home at the end. You'll be in Mrs. Guth's club making some slime, which is going to be pretty fun. Next up, maybe you are kind of like that architect type person. Maybe you just like to do some carvings of things. And if you'd like to do that, you have soap carving with Mrs. Brown. So you're going to get a bar of soap, and you are going to make it into something cool using some kind of fun tools to kind of carve away that soap into a shape and take it home. So sounds like a lot of fun. Soap carving. Next up, we have Play-Doh towers with Miss Fort. So if you really like to play with Play-Doh, build up some towers, create something kind of fun and cool. That can be the Raider Club for you. So lots of Play-Doh going to be in there. And so you'll be making some big old towers, working as a group possibly, having some fun. Next is Creative Crafts with Mrs. Schneider. And so if you're one of those kind of crafty, artsy type person, this would definitely be the Raider Club for you. So doing some crafts in there with Mrs. Schneider. Our next club is with Mrs. Blue. This would be the Building Masters Club. And you're going to be building and creating some things using some magnetic blocks. And so building up some stuff, just being able to take some time and show that creativity there. So let's see who the Building Masters are with Mrs. Blue. Next up, we have another builders club. This one is, though, with marshmallows. So you're going to be using some marshmallows. You're going to be using some toothpicks with Miss Carlson, and you're going to see what you can create. Build up a nice little house, a home, a something, using some marshmallows. So a lot of fun. Probably smell really good in that room, too. Next up, we have making lemonade with Mrs. Brower. Mrs. Brower's room is full of lemons. And so you're going to be making some lemonade. So with real lemons and everything, the whole 9 yards. And so we're going to be doing that. So if you want to kind of create a nice little fun, tasty treat, that's going to be the place to do it right there, making some lemonade with Mrs. Brower. Next up, we have some STEM tubs with Mrs. Lee. STEM tubs. And so the word STEM stands for, just what it is down here, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so those are kind of all those really fun, kind of creative things to do. Mrs. Lee's got a lot of different tubs that have all sorts of things to do with anything STEM. And so there's a lot of really fun activities to do in that one. So that might be a fun club for you to do. Next up, we have straw rockets with Mrs. Heller. And so you're going to be shooting these rockets off, creating them, building them, making them, and then also flying them there at the end. So another one you get to take something home with. So some straw rockets with Mrs. Heller. Next up with Mrs. Ramsey, we have Breakout EDU. So if you've ever heard of what like an escape room is, Breakout EDU is a lot like that, except for you're trying to break into a box. And so this is for those really kind of that like to do those kind of mysterious things and find clues and just be very creative and see if they can't break into the box. So if that's something that interests you, this might be the club for you. Breakout EDU with Mrs. Ramsey. Next up, we have a calming Raider Club. You'll be creating some sensory bottles with Mrs. Watchhorn. So sensory bottles are bottles that have just a lot of kind of cool stuff in them. You can flip them upside down, and just like in the picture here, you might have glitter in some. You might have some other things in there too, and they just kind of flows up and down. Just kind of a nice little calming thing to finish, create, and then also take it home. Sensory bottles with Mrs. Watchhorn. Next up is directed drawings with Mrs. Zwern. So if you are like me, not a very good artist, directed drawings is the perfect thing. It's kind of a step-by-step how to draw a picture, and it turns everybody into a great artist. Even somebody terrible at art like Mr. Meyer would do a good job with this one. So directed drawings, come make a masterpiece with Mrs. Zwern. Next up, our loudest Raider Club is going to be bucket drumming with Mrs. Michaelman. So, pretty easy and self-explanatory right there. You're going to have a bucket, you're going to have some drumsticks, and you are going to drum on that bucket. So, those musical fans out there, this could be the club for you. Next up is perler beads with Ms. Larson. So perler beads are just like this. There's a whole bunch of these little colorful beads, and what you do is you kind of create them and make a little shape of some sort or a picture of some sort. And then you use an iron and you iron over the top of it, and that heat from the iron melts it so it all sticks together. So it's a little bit like pixel art. It's a little bit like laundry, and then it all comes together to make a really cool picture there that you can kind of take home. So perler beads with Ms. Larson. Alrighty, next up, our club is Ninja Warrior with Mr. Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey's got all sorts of fantastic and cool Ninja Warrior obstacle course type stuff in the gym. He's going to set it up for you so you can kind of run through that course, see if you can beat your time, see who is the most agile of kids at South Elementary. So it's a kind of an obstacle course. You're going to run it and climb on it and swing from it and all sorts of other things. So Ninja Warrior with Mr. Dorsey. And with that, that is all of our clubs. So all of those Raider clubs that I've just talked about will be something that all of you will be doing this Friday. This Friday at the end of the day, we will be having our very first Raider Clubs Day. So you are going to listen to instructions from your teacher on how it is that kids will be picking their club, and you'll be doing that all week long. And then on Friday, you'll be going to your Raider clubs and having some really good fun. Tell you what. So I can't wait to see who gets to be in my club, and I can't wait to see some pictures from all the other clubs. So thank you guys so very much. Now it's time to listen to your teacher for some good instructions, and everybody have a great week.